All
Well,
right.
welcome to the Fool's Check Show, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's February 9th, I think, hopefully. Here with the usual crew, Brantley, Johnny, Tank, and myself. Nick's not with us this morning, but don't let that stop you from participating with us. We're here to answer all your questions about our software and its usage and any general tech advice or experience we can share. And after that, if there's any time, we'll discuss some other things if nobody's got anything going on. Um, let's see. Couple of things I wanted to mention just for general reminders for our listeners out there. Um, in case you didn't know, we occasionally have some people that contact us requesting cancellations because they didn't know that D72 was a subscription service. And I just wanted to explain all the options we have with that in a little bit of detail so that everyone is very familiar and aware of what we offer in that regard. So we offer a monthly subscription for D72. And we also offer a yearly subscription, but it's only subscription. There is no one-time purchase of D72. We either offer it for $19 a month for a single tech or $39 a month for up to 5 techs, 2 to 5 techs. Similarly, we have the same options with D72, but we do have upgrade options for additional techs if that's required beyond 5 as well. Single tech subscription for D72 is $179, and for a 2 to 5 tech subscription to D72, it's $299. And this are all before, these are the prices posted on our website, and this is before sales. So please keep that in mind. We do have a coupon system on our site. Make sure if you want to use a coupon that you enter it in at time of purchase. We can, with our new subscription system, retroactively apply coupons. So that's good. If somebody neglected to put one on, please let us know. But it's a subscription. That's the point of why I'm mentioning this, and it's going to automatically renew. If you contact us prior to the renewal, that's not a problem for cancellation, but we need to be contacted prior to that. Just like your, let's say, Xbox Live subscription or magazine subscription, it's going to bill your credit card on that subscription basis, so whether it be monthly or annually. And we explain that on our site and our terms. Please take a look at them if you guys haven't read that. Um, let's see. So I'll stop talking about that. We all know what subscriptions are now. We had a couple. Somebody had mentioned talking about forum posts. I think it's a great idea, obviously. Forum posts, we haven't had a whole lot of activity in our forum for the past 26 days. It looks like we're only seeing a couple of posts for the past month or so. But I'll briefly talk about some of those and see if there's still issues. And this may just be a good way, even if they're not widespread issues, but odds are somebody else has them out there. So I thought we'd spend a few minutes and go over some of those. If, just briefly, though, there's not a whole lot here, as I said. We encourage you to participate in our forums, though, and we will always endeavor to keep up with it ourselves. Um, we typically get a lot of suggestions in the forums, too. There have been, and this is a good thing, I think, to talk about as well. Um, uh, for D7X, obviously, we're in development of that. And so if you have any feature requests, now probably is a good time to mention this to us. Now, we've collected feature requests from the population, from you guys out there for a long time, and we have a large list of those things. But there was a post here 28 days ago, for instance, about remembering the asset ID. Now, I've heard this mentioned a lot before. Brantley, do you know what our the status of that is? That something we're going to be doing with D7X moving forward or anything like that?
For what?
Tracking the asset ID, remembering it as opposed to not having to enter it in every time.
The client ID?
Yeah.
That should be remembered every time. The case number is going to be different every time, though.
Oh, is it the case number? Okay, hold on.
Because, yeah, whenever you start up D72 and you enter in client ID, it gets stored in the registry, and the next time D72 opens, it should remember that one. The number for your work order number or your ticket number or whatever you use the number for is going to change every time, because if you're working on that system again after
Okay.
you end the session, it'll be a new one.
All right. Well, can you look? Are you in the forums right now, Brantley? Can you look at a particular one? You should see the one I'm talking about. But look at Nick's response. It's seemingly contradictory to what you just said, but maybe I'm misinterpreting it. That's probably the case.
Which one is it?
So, it's so. I mean, but it's removed during the end session. I mean, is that? I mean, right? So you're saying it's remembered throughout the session, but it will be removed after the session is terminated, correct?
Nick's talking about the tracking number. And the tracking number is what I was just telling you is for an individual per instance. So that's for that session.
That's for that session. Okay, great.
The client ID is remembered on the system.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And how is that in regarding this particular question? So how does PCRT, how does the integration with that work and matching all that up? It uses the which data is there is matching up with the data in PCRT?
It looks like the tracking number.
The tracking number.
I was muted. It's the tracking number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do have to enter in the asset number for PCRT.
Okay. I think we're getting a little bit confused about all the different terminology that we're using for all these various numbers. Okay, that's a little bit more clear. Okay, so there was that one. We've had several questions about disabling the maintenance button with the support suite. This is something that can be done. The button, I don't believe, can be removed. It just won't function. Is that correct, Brantley?
Correct. It's going to just disable it. And that doesn't disable the maintenance features if you have that set to automatically run. It just makes they can't run the...
Yeah, they can't run it themselves. But you can disable those other things as well, or control how the maintenance operates otherwise in the configuration of the management console, correct?
Yep.
Okay. If that's not clear to anyone, or anyone has any specific questions about the maintenance button, I'm not really clear. There is, I think the biggest thing is that it's in multiple, that the options for it are in maybe multiple places, and that's maybe something that we could look at as far as our user interface design. And we want suggestions in that as well, but we are trying to spend a larger focus on that. And as you all know, we will be rewriting the Support Suite Management Console, and so if we could get those settings maybe in a more logical order, or something, some sort of improvement in that area, we'll certainly consider that. So we're getting over the month mark. Oh, there was one other post about D7X and getting an update on that. And of course, as everyone knows, we recently had several shows about KillEmAll version 5 and the improvements to that that Nick's made recently. That's huge, and that's accessible to everyone. And our data, where is that on our site?
So while you look for that, Ryan has a question about, can you have DSS report to the server along with the email? And that is something we are looking at for the next update for DSS. Nick actually already has a bunch of plans for DSS, and we'll be having that option where it's going to report to the server. So there is going to be that option in future version of DSS.
Excellent. There's the link to KillEmAll. I'll go there, check it out, and download it, and certainly can be added as a custom app to D7 too, so you can take advantage of it immediately if you so choose. But it's not integrated in the sense that checking that KillEmAll box for the auto mode profiles won't be interacting with version 5.
Ryan says we could integrate it into PCRT to show an alert on it, so that would be cool. For DSS and having it report to the server, which I'm not exactly sure on Nick's plans with that, but he did mention that was something he was wanting to do. So he's actually going to change a lot about the interface and how it looks and acts and feels. So, Michael, did you have anything else?
I mean, I was going to go back just a little bit further. We're getting some older issues, at this point, but I would like to mention maybe one more, or and then what did you want to? What were you gonna? We're gonna switch topics, or what?
Well, I was gonna show off CryptoPrevent 8 because I think it's about ready for it to be shown off.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
I don't feel scared about it.
Yeah, let me just get one last thing in here. There's always issues, there's always forum posts about third-party tools and the integration within, and obviously we don't control the development of those third-party tools, so we can't always, predict exactly what they'll be doing. But it's, in the issue of JRT, there was a change of command line switches a while back. We try to maintain JRT and update it, but if you happen to find that they've made a change, please let us know so we can update it in our default apps, and we'll publish that as an update and get that out there. We always would like to accept recommendations on additions to our third-party apps, so if you know of anything, certainly let us know, and we can even help create them for you as part of our support services. Let's see. So please check our forums for information on the specifics of those changes. If you have a third-party app, post it there if you're having problems with it, or make your recommendations, or anything else. And take it away, Brantley.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen and wait for the video to catch up, make sure it all looks good. So,
I did some additional testing this morning as well. Everything was looking solid to me.
Cool. Well, all we have to do is verify the update testing and then check it out on bulk. And
you don't have that enabled. Oh, that's a good point. You don't have 8 to 8 updates enabled yet, and I need to retest that completely. And when I try to do an update, it doesn't. It says no updates available. So
yeah, that's expected at the moment. All right, so we got CryptoPrevent 7 here. If you haven't tried it, someone want to post a link to the Prevent page.
Sure.
It is free for the protection, and in version 7, which is the currently released version, you'll have software restriction policies and filter module. And we'll switch over to the advanced to show you some of the various locations that protections are. And you have a EXE filter, which is showing in beta, but Nick actually had a recent breakthrough with KillEmAll, so we hope to have that updated and out of beta to where it works with a lot more files and programs. There is a current issue. If you enable this, it will scan all your EXE files and COM files, but some files like Microsoft Office click-to-run style files have issues being launched by other apps. So there was an issue with that, but hopefully that will be resolved in version 8 if Nick can rewrite the filter module. But otherwise, it does block all of these locations, and one of the biggest things that we've heard great things about is we have a group policy to block vssadmin.exe, which that's a very common program to be used by malware to delete all your volume shadow copies. So it encrypts your files, deletes all your volume shadow copies, and you don't have backups of it. With just this one checkbox, you can possibly get your files back easily, even if you do get infected with that vssadmin being disabled. So you can use a program, Shadow Explorer, and that will allow you to search all the volume shadow copies on your system. But enough about the old version. Let's look at the regular one. So version 8 will be a free upgrade for everyone. The premium edition right now gives you options in version 7 to do email alerts and automatic updates,
Customized blacklist,
and be able to add customized blacklist options. So CryptoPrevent 8 will be a free update for everyone with version 7, and you'll be able to just check for updates. It'll say you have a new version for 8. Say OK. And it will do its thing, and hopefully you'll be impressed with all the work I've put into it. I think I've done like I know it's over 10,000 lines of code since I started this, and possibly more. It may be around the 15,000 lines of code mark now, but it's been a lot of work, a lot of work. So it does take a minute for it to pick up here. There should be a window here. I'm not sure why that's not showing, but if we check our task manager, we'll see that it is running in the background. And right now what it's doing is converting all the settings from version 7 to version 8. So once that completes...
That was working when I did an upgrade this morning, and it showed for me, the box. So I don't know why it's not showing for you here in this. That's weird.
It's because of the demo gods. I didn't prepare a sacrifice for them.
Ah, yeah. Okay, well, no worries. Yeah, the policies have been largely expanded, so there will be some additional time in applying the policies in comparison to version 7, and I'm sure Brent will go into that in some more detail, but I want you all to understand that that's a representation of the improved levels of protections and the fact that we're doing a lot more work than we were in the previous version.
And that's part of what's going on here, is it's actually going through and reapplying the protections with the new additions on the prevention options.
Did you already have protections applied?
Yeah,
See,
that's why.
I wouldn't have recommended that as far as the test drive goes. Yeah, because that will take extra long.
And basically what happened is CryptoPrevent version 7 had group policy objects to block about 5 to 10, I forget the exact number, but executable extensions. CryptoPrevent 8 has, I want to say, over 20 different executable extensions that it's providing blocks for. So offers a whole lot more there. And I had the default level of protections applied, so that's why it's taken a little while to go through and reapply all of those preventions. It probably would have been a cool idea to show off how many were applied with the default.
Question, Brentley, was it possible? I guess not without saving settings. I was just wondering if there's a way to make the upgrade process go quicker by not doing it right at that point, only doing when the apply button is pushed.
But then you wouldn't have any of the protection features.
No additional protection features you wouldn't until you push the apply. You would just have what protection features you had previously. You can still enable folder watch, for instance, but I didn't know if that would be a way to just speed up the upgrade process, because I feel like if they're maximum and it is going to take this long, that we should, I guess make sure, of course, the dialog box is there, but maybe we should explain or put a fact on the page on how to. I'll write something up for that. Yeah.
Proctor, you probably want to mute.
Oh, yeah. Let's do a CryptoPrevent 8 fact if we don't already have that.
That would be a good idea, Michael. So it is still applying protections. While we're waiting on that, we can go ahead and show off some of the other background features. So nice features, I've enabled logging, so it logs to a file now. Your logs will not be this large because this is doing some in-depth logging, but
that's another reason for the
that
performance. We're going to have better performance when we do publish this for everyone. We have a lot of debugging stuff enabled right now, as Brantley just showed you, so
yeah.
that's going to improve things as well. So we'll reevaluate that. Please don't use this, though, as a representation of how quickly it will function. But I think you'll notice even after it's upgraded and working and everything's fine, the performance is excellent, even despite the additional protections. Sorry.
Debugging stuff.
And,
so it's converted now, and you can see that it's letting you know that protections are not applied until you reboot. And this is because it had to go through and reapply the protection. So you would want to reboot at this point. We're just going to say no, though, just so we can show off it a little bit more. So now we have the new interface for KillEmAll, or for CryptoPrevent version 8. See, it's quite a big change from version 7. We've streamlined things, put some things in nice little tabs, and it's made it a whole lot more interesting. Some of the big changes for this are going to be folder watch, which we'll do a demo here in a little bit. And the other big changes are we have a tray application icon, so you can quickly access your settings and determine what they're set at even, or if you needed to disable them to install software, things like that, you can do that through here. If you wanted to check for updates or check out your advanced history and things like that, you can do that all through here quickly. The other big option is we have KillEmAll integrated into this, and what that will do is it'll take our well-loved KillEmAll program, and let's go ahead and just start up some applications here. And just clicking this button will kill them all. And same thing for the system tray icon. So if we terminate non-essential programs, killed all the processes. So, cool bit on that. The reason it closed out of the main window.
Brantley, I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you at all, but Brantley, I'm not hearing you at all. Could you repeat what you said? It was completely dead.
Yeah, my internet is having unstable connections again. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're better now.
All right. So the reason that the main window closed when I did the system tray is because if you have the main window open, it's actually better to do things through the main window. So it actually gave me a little warning about that. And I said yes, so it would go ahead and close out of that. But otherwise, it will cancel it and you can do your things through the main window here. So that's the very two nice new features there. Otherwise, we have our email settings if you have premium. And we have our history is a little bit nicer now. And you can check from the previous startup or the beginning of time. And I don't have any events right now, or else it would show them. Checking for updates. Premium Edition gets the automatic updates. Manual updates you can do at any time. And a nice new About screen.
You do need to still update some of that information on that About screen, though, by the way. But the wording there with the number of, protections.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Otherwise, the advanced settings are still kind of hidden because we wanted to keep it simple for the easy side. Down here, you can actually see how many definitions, so hash definitions that we have loaded, and how many protections we have applied, which I believe on the default setting, Michael, do you have a regular CryptoPrevent?
Yeah.
What the default was? I want to say it was.
I'll double check. Yeah, let me reopen the virtual machine. But
I want to say it was between 150 and 300.
yeah, it was. It'll take me a hot minute, but
Yeah.
I'll get it for you.
But now you can see that we have over 1,600 applied. This will change depending on the amount of users you have, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, it protects everything a lot more. So if we go into advanced settings, we'll see we have two options here. Now, this makes a big difference here. For custom settings, if we go to this one, that's going to allow us to do custom options. If we do default or maximum or minimum ones, these are going to be plans that we have set. So the minimum gives you just the base protections. The default gives you what we recommend for protections. Maximum gives you full on everything that we can protections, but it also may cause some issues with backup software and also may cause issues with installing and uninstalling programs. The default is still our kind of set and forget option, so just keep that in mind. Now, go ahead, Michael.
Oh, okay. Apparently, I was just going to say I have those numbers for you if you're interested.
Yeah.
The number of definitions loaded is 17,141, but that should be, do these use the same definitions as the new CryptoPrevent?
Yeah, mine are a little outdated, so.
Okay.
More is better.
Okay, and but the software restriction policies definitely, you were close. Yeah, 373 when maximum protection is applied. 373.
So that's with maximum.
Yeah, that's with maximum.
What's the default? Because that's what this one's on as default.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then let me.
No, that's good to know too. While you look at that, I'll go ahead and apply the maximum protection. We'll see what it ends up being.
Okay, it's refreshing. Opening back up. 324.
For a default?
Yeah. So yeah, 324 versus the 17 to 1800 that you could do with CryptoPrevent version 8. That's huge.
A little over 1,600 with the default.
Yeah. Yeah, but the high end is above 1800, I believe.
Yep, we'll see here in a second once these protections apply. And again, the performance is because we have a bunch of debugging software running
Now,
right.
That's the screen. That's the window we should have been seeing. The refreshing protections little bar there. Not terribly pretty, I know, but we do want to give you an indication that something's going on here during this longer process.
And you do still want to restart your system. The reason why you want to restart your system if you ever apply protections is because Microsoft's group policy updating is kind of random. It is always highly recommended if you change any of the group policy settings that you restart the system to ensure they get enacted.
And if
But
possible, we are going to add more zeros to the version number. So if all of you out there we're asking for that, we're going to do that too.
yeah, we're going to have a lot more zeros.
Mm-hmm.
It does have over 1,888 protection.
Wow, almost getting towards 1900. Wow, that really makes my pants tight too. Like you said, Ryan.
Yeah, he was talking about DSS though.
Well, I know, but still, I'm relating.
So with the advanced settings, I do want to kind of explain a little bit here. We may end up changing this around before the regular release, but this will stay the same. So right now, if you switch to advanced settings, we're going to do it for just the this session only. So that means that if we switch to it and then close out, it would have the advanced settings hidden, which you can see the advanced settings are custom settings and policy editor. But you'll also notice that on the main page here that our custom settings is the only one we can select. And that's because if you have the advanced settings hidden or shown, then you're going to have to apply your own. You're not going off one of our plans. So it's going to use your own settings, and you can go through and customize all of these.
Now, Brentley has taken some time here to reorganize these things and to explain them a little bit better.
Actually, Nick did all that side.
Oh, wow. Well, either way, it's a good improvement. I've been far more comfortable working with it. I tend to be able to. I've been testing it for a while, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I tend to find it a little bit more informative than the previous version. And I'm liking that. And I also like, as usual, we maintain a high level of flexibility in how you can control every intimate detail of the protection that's applied. We want to give you guys power, not take any away from you, obviously. But despite that, we also want to, have an interface that's not frightening to our, to our users out there. So
some of the big changes here are when you hover over certain items, you'll see, like this box tells you if you hover over an item, you'll get more detail about it.
You didn't do that?
Well, I did that part, but Nick reorganized how all these things look and what they are.
Okay.
But it'll tell you what locations it's blocking for XP versus Vista and different things like that. So very nice there. The double file extensions explains about what that means there, and also shows you a list of the extensions that are getting blocked for double extensions. And then the right to left, you can learn more about there. For these and you can kind of see these are split up in what we would have them in as the plan. So the minimum plan would have all of these checked. The default plan would have everything in the minimum plus all of these checked. And the maximum would have these plus everything in here checked.
So it's aggregate.
Yep.
Okay.
Good word. Thank you for that. Proctor the dictionary.
File types, that's familiar from the filtering tab.
Yep, the prevent file types
part before.
Enable there. You can choose how it ends up notifying you if those are blocked or not. Now we have the nice newest feature, one of the ones that we're most excited about, is the folder watch.
Yeah.
So folder watch protection is available for the free version, but it is only going to block these locations. And essentially what folder watch is doing is it's monitoring these folders. So there is a residual program running. There's a service. Which we'll check out that service right now, actually. So you can see the CryptoPrevent Mon service, and basically it's not taking up any of your processing power unless files are getting changed on the system. It does take up about 19 megs of memory, but it's doing the folder watch and the email services both combined there. So,
could you do an example of putting a file on one of those locations so we can see how the CPU utilization changes?
Yeah, sure. So to do that one, let's get to some of the other features, and we'll come back to a demo of this one. But just to show off here that you do have the ability to monitor custom folders, but that is for premium versions only. And to monitor a custom folder, you just pick one and you can select it. Now, it is very good to note that the custom folder watch is only going to monitor this folder. It's not going to monitor subfolders. Basically, we found that if you set it to monitor subfolders, you're going to run into issues because let's say people check Windows. If it monitors your subfolders there's files changing in Windows all the time, and you don't want to monitor and adjust for all of those. That would create a huge performance impact. So if you monitor just the Windows folder, then any file that ends up in Windows would get scanned.
Check your processor usage. Yeah, Windows obviously is a very active folder. As you can see, it's using.
Well, and actually, that's something else too. Is whenever you add one, it's going to go through and scan all the files in that folder. So this is a feature to basically. So if you already have a file there that's matched, or if there was something wrong with the service, or something happened to your system and files got added without the service running, the next time the service starts, it'll go through and scan all those files again and check them against this hash definitions list. So that's what it's actually doing right now, is it's scanning through all the files in the Windows folder. We'll just let that run for right now and see what happens. Otherwise, we can see our whitelist options here. Let's go ahead and put one in a blocked location. Yeah, I do have 4 cores assigned to my PP. This. Let's put this in a blocked location, which would be this one. Oh, I just meant to copy that. All right, so we have a file in a blocked location. If we go into whitelist all executables in block locations, you can see it goes through and finds that these are in blocked locations right now. So it whitelists those. Blacklist policies, you can check out all the policies that are getting blocked right now. And if you have a premium version, you can add your own custom ones.
It's so nice to be able to see all those policies, individually like that. I really enjoyed browsing through those and learning from that. Yeah.
So whitelist anyone can add. Blacklist only premium can add there. So just to make that note. You also do have the ability to add your own user hash definitions. So you have MD5s and SHA-256s. These are a combination of both the ones. The ones that are counted right here are going to be ones that are currently applied from Foolish IT's maintained list, which we get a list of hashes from Sane Security. And here is a new feature for version 8. If you do find a piece of malware, or you just like playing around with malware and find one that we don't have a hash for, you now have the ability to submit your own hash for it. So because of the way I have this demo set up, we can't actually upload the file, but basically what you would do is you would look for a executable file that you think might be a malware or that you want to be able to block. So let's just take this setup program here. It's going to give you the MD5 hash and the SHA-256 hash. It'll check if it's on either of the lists, so either the foolish IT maintained list or if it's already on your user definition hash list. And if it's not on either of those, or it's just on your user one, you can upload it to us and we'll be able to add it to the foolish IT maintained one after we check it out so that we can make sure that the file is malicious and would want it to be blocked for everyone.
Hey, Brantley, Shrew's having a problem with IRC. Yeah.
You should be all right there. Is there someone else in your shop that's already on the IRC?
Or do you have multiple client windows opened up?
Eric and her are on there, so that's probably why. Because it's going off your IP and then bases that on it, so it should be okay. It shouldn't kick you off, I don't believe, so should be all right on that.
And the counter starts ticking down now.
Yeah. Otherwise, let's go ahead and add one to our MD5 hash list. And what this is going to do is show you what happens with folder watch. So we can see folder watch finish scanning the Windows directory. We'll check and see.
Proctor, you want to pay attention to this. This is what you were asking.
Yeah. We'll check and see if it found any other quarantines in my Windows folder. I don't believe it should have since this is a fresh machine, but we're going to go ahead and add this hash to our MD5 user list. And you can see that CryptoPrevent exe is there, and that's what we got the hash for. So we're going to go ahead and save this, and it disappeared. So it's completely gone now. It checked that almost instantly, and it is going through and scanning all of those files again. That's why it's on the 25%, because it's scanning those Windows files again. But where did it go?
You still have the Windows folder in there?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. You tell everyone not to do one of those folders, and then the first thing you do is add it to your list.
Well, it's the scanning all of the folders under there. So like you don't want to add a temp folder to be monitored because that's going to be changing a lot. But you can see that the file got quarantined almost immediately, and it's in our quarantine folder. Right now we do have it going to your system drive CryptoPrevent quarantine, and that's going to be the default location for it. We are going to have that customizable possibly in a future version, but right now it does quarantine it here. And check it out, that's it. So that's cool. Now that we have this on our user hash, we can check out what happens when we add that hash through our submit malware. You can see it's showing you that it's on our MD5 user list. So that is about it, I believe. Let's see if we can test its protections without it. Yep, protections do appear to be applied. So
what happens? Hit the upload button. Hit the upload button.
It's not going to work because I have it set up to go through my.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Excuse me.
It should be showing an test event here.
Oh, yes, it should be showing a test event there. It was. I tested that before. Oh, hey, I know why. It's because when the processor comes down on the folder watch, if it ever stops, it'll send that email. Or it might do it, or it'll log it now, maybe? No? I don't know.
I'm gonna have to come back and check that. All right, so another nice feature is when you close out of it, it's going to detect if we changed any settings, which we did. So we're going to go ahead and apply them. That'll go through and apply it. But that is pretty much CryptoPrevent version 8. A lot of hard work's gone into it. We hope that the folder watch is going to be a really big help for everyone. Basically, what we were finding is just scanning every exe and com file that runs wasn't the best approach to it, especially if you just have files sitting there that may never be run. This will actually protect those folders, like your most common places that you download things, like your downloads, your documents, your music, picture, videos, your desktop, places like that, and will automatically scan any file that you put there against the hash definitions that we know are malicious files, and
So we don't always know. Let's say, I mean, you know, there could be theoretically a future executable file type, you know, or something that we haven't thought about yet. And this basically, with your hash definitions getting updated, once those are out in the wild, they'll be reported and they'll be flagged and you'll be protected from them. So it works well. And it's a lot more comprehensive than the previous ones. It's almost like adding a subset sort of active scanning into our application.
So that is CryptoPrevent 8, and looks like Shook says he likes it so far, and Futures Eric is looking forward to implementing them. So we do have a little bit more testing to do. As you can see, there's something going on with this history tab, but we will get back to checking that out, and basically, yeah, we're very excited about it, and we have a few more bits of testing to do. And once we get that testing worked out, then we're going to open it up for public beta.
But it's really close. I mean, we just have to, I think, write the update thing, version 8 to 8 updates, make sure we can put future updates out successfully, and that little issue we just ran into with the logging, right? I mean, that's just about it, right? We have a few white label things, maybe.
White label and bulk we have.
Bulk. Okay. Yeah.
So once we test both of those, we'll do a public beta so that y'all can have a little bit of time to see if you can find things that we couldn't, which hopefully you won't be able to. That's why we've put all this time into testing and working with it. But who knows? We don't have a very wide range of testing options, and it's always nicer to see some real world live environment testing. So definitely when we do that, please look for it and follow our blog, or we'll definitely announce it on our show here, and you can join in and test it out with us and make sure it's top notch when we release it. So think that is it. If anybody has any questions about it, or wants to see something else, or wants to see something more in detail, feel free to ask now. I'll be more than happy to show it and show it off here. So. Yeah, I actually love bug hunting the most, Eric. I am extremely good at that normally.
He is good. He gets to the bottom of them quickly. I will tell you that. Oftentimes, I just have to say a few sentences, and he's on it. And then he goes quiet for like 30 minutes to 30 hours, and then next thing I know, there's a new test out.
Yeah, some things are harder to fix than others because I am no programmer by any means. So.
Well, I think you don't give yourself enough credit. I'm really impressed with it so far. Obviously, no, we're not gods. We're not perfect. So that's not the expectation, but it is a solid app. Through all our testing, I've not noticed anything that's brought anything to a standstill. This is not going to hurt anybody's computers. I think it's a commendable product. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, so Ryan, you went to the ESET Partner Conference. How was that? And also in RTM Tech, I'm looking forward to everyone testing it and hopefully finding no bugs so we can go ahead and get it released out there. But also, you should be aware that you should go ahead and buy up your CryptoPrevent copies now, because version 8 will be coming with a price change, and we'll announce all of that once we release. But again, if you have version 7 already, and you'll get updates for the life of the protection product, so feel free to go ahead and buy up a ton of copies for version 7, and then you will have version 8 when it comes out for free. And you'll avoid that price change or increase that we'll be doing with version 8. And definitely look at our unlimited option, because that gives you unlimited CryptoPrevent bulk setups.
And if you were selling your licenses at the recommended price of, let's say, $15, that $5,000 doesn't for the unlimited license doesn't take very long to recoup.
It's actually an insane deal, and our
It's a really good deal. I as the bean counter, I keep telling you guys I think we should raise the price or not make that thing unlimited. It's a super good deal.
So put it this way, most every organization we've sat down with who was considering deploying it said the same thing during all of our meetings, that that our pricing was very much like Crazy Eddie, right, back in the day.
for
Remember that, but
the regular bulk packs, though, it's also extremely good deal. The more bulk you get, the more
no, usually one time, not CryptoPrevent as a subscription service, but I guess that's feasible. MSPs sometimes offer it as an increase in their subscription to offering the protection of CryptoPrevent. If that's what you're asking, Ryan, yes, they do that.
Michael, you should repeat a question before you just.
Oh, are people selling CryptoPrevent version or CryptoPrevent as a subscription? No, we are not selling CryptoPrevent currently as a subscription, and most people don't generally sell it as a subscription. Usually just a one-off. However, we do have MSP clients that basically increase their subscription costs with their existing clientele by offering them CryptoPrevent or calling CryptoPrevent their improved, malware protection, or branding it however they want to. So we see that a lot. So basically, the answer is yes. If you so choose, you could sell it any way you like. The resale license leaves the pricing and all that up to the purchaser, you in this case.
Yep. And Ryan, for the DSS, it will have a integration with that in a future version of DSS, so you could easily have it on your subscription bonus. And actually, you can have a levels of your subscription if you include CryptoPrevent or not, and base your pricing off of that. So.
Well, the DSS rewrite is going to take some time, but that is what we're working towards. I believe, though, we're kind of some of the initial implementation might go a little bit more quickly. So hopefully, it won't be the full year. But, yeah.
Eric, as far as adjusting the agents individually when the upgrade comes out, you shouldn't have to do much there. The folder watch is going to be enabled by default, because it's only going to be scanning these locations by default, so it's not going to be any big performance hit, and it's not going to, if it finds anything in those locations, you're going to want it to be found. The custom folders, you will have if you wanted to add those, you may have to adjust the individual systems that you've deployed to individually from that point. But as Michael said, we are looking at doing a managed option for CryptoPrevent through DSS. And Ryan, it probably will not be just a couple more days. It may be a couple more days before we do the public beta. So it's going to be a little bit after that we get the management stuff going. So.
And futures, Eric, As far as the agents are concerned, in my testing, I've not had to. The upgrade's been clean. It's preserved all the existing settings. We've made sure that was tested. And again, as Brantley mentioned, the addition of folder watch in its default level. Through the upgrade is not going to have any side effects for any of your existing clients, and it's only going to give them potentially some new information if there's a match in those, and you certainly want to know about it, as he mentioned, in that regard. But we're not trying to put work on any of the people that maintain CryptoPrevent out there, so we expect this to be a very smooth upgrade process for all the agents out there, all the clients out there.
And the managed option is something that we've heard a lot of requests about, so that is going to be pretty much our primary focus after we get this version out. We'll address any issues that get found in the public beta, hopefully quickly, then we'll release it, and then we'll be working on the managed option for CryptoPrevent. So that hopefully will come very soon, and depending on what we end up going with, we have some plans already laid out for how we're going to handle it. Just depends on what all we end up going with in the final set as to when we can give a time estimate on that. But hopefully we should be seeing CryptoPrevent come out in public beta here soon, and that's where all our focus is right now. So cool there. I think that's about all we can show off with this right now. Do y'all have anything else you wanted to talk about in the meantime? Let's stop sharing my screen here.
Unless we have any requests, I think that was a very important little show off there. So.
And Eric says that hands down, the new interface looks much better, easier to read and navigate than the previous versions. And you can actually thank Nick for all that. He actually had the whole layout and everything already planned. So, Ryan, there are no payment options unless you want to get a credit card and pay it off that way. We happily accept credit cards. So. You're probably going to have a tough time finding a credit card that does $25 a month, though, with a $5,000 limit. I think. I don't know. I don't do credit cards, so.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty low payment.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
I don't think you'd ever pay that off with the interest.
I
know you wouldn't
cover the minimum payment of. Is he talking about the unlimited purchase?
Well, he was saying, can he do a unlimited payment on a monthly plan of $25 a month?
Yeah, no. The minimum payment of most credit cards these days for $5,000 is more than $25, I think.
Yeah, it's probably going to be over $100.
But we're not offering that, just to make sure that's clear.
Yeah. By the way,
that would be you have to sign up for your own credit card and pay for it, and we'll take the credit card payment, and then you can deal with the credit card agency. Are you supposed to pay those things?
So what? We're not offering the foolish IT credit cards yet.
Negative. Although Proctor, if you want to get into that, I hear credit cards is a really good racket to be in.
Yeah.
If you got an enforcement branch.
Shuk had a question, and he's talking about the heuristic scan in Malwarebytes 2.0 being slow in comparison to the previous one, 7.5 version. In my experience, yes, but I only used it too briefly when it first came out.
Well, 2.0, and with the heuristics, I would imagine they've added a whole bunch to that. They've added a lot of. They've purchased a few people since they went to 2.0 and have.
That's right.
since 2.0. So they've probably added a whole lot to their heuristics, and that's not necessarily a bad thing that it's taking longer. It's actually probably better because it's checking more about the files that it's scanning. So Ryan says he sells merchant services, so if we want to get into that, let him know. I think we'll stick with the tech products for right now. Just going off my thought on the matter. All right, well, we got into our hour. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Go over? Oh, I do have one interesting article that we can talk about real quick. Let me get it here. So, apparently, Capcom has released a new trailer for Street Fighter V, and Engadget says it's the most badass trailer yet. So I'll post that link in here.
Interesting.
You can check out that.
I'll check out that. Thank you, Brantley, as always, for sharing. Hey, listen, my particular processor, or the same model, just won the overclocking record. The 6700K processor Skylake with liquid nitrogen breaks 7 gigahertz, specifically 7025.
Wow, why does yours run so slow and hot then?
Lack of liquid nitrogen, Brantley. Lack of liquid nitrogen.
Why don't you have that?
Expense.
Oh, that's why it runs slower than my computer.
Not true. Post
2 generations older.
Post a CPU Z screenshot.
This was something else interesting I saw come up too, that Russian hackers moved the Ruble rate with malware. So this is, I'm pretty sure if I look up what they were talking, is that they actually stole enough rubles that it made so I think it's going off the ATM pay card thing. So basically this group had a malware infect a bank, and they were able to set it so that ATM transactions reversed, so that their pay cards never expired, basically. So they bought $100 pay card, and they could go to an ATM, cash out $100, and then go back to that ATM, cash out another $100, and it would just never hit the credit limit because the bank would never get that.
Yeah, it's a ton of banks were found to have the software throughout Russia. Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember reading that. Yeah.
So pretty interesting, crazy there. All right, well, that's all the other news I had found interesting too. So, anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
China made a breakthrough in fusion, an unprecedented 102 seconds at fusion sustaining time, heat levels. So, hopefully, we're one step closer to fusion as a workable means of clean energy production.
It says they're the world leader in nuclear fusion research.
Yeah, they did that with the tokamak, I believe, the more conventional fusion reactor, as opposed to the stellarators and some of the other weird things they've got going in Europe.
Eric said that for Malwarebytes, he believes you can disable the heuristics before scanning, And I would actually be quite interested to see. I mean, I know it's going to take more time. I would normally leave heuristics enabled, but it would be interesting to see what the result rate is with heuristics off versus heuristics on. Like, probably scan a system with heuristics off and then go back and scan it with it on, see if it found more stuff. Because usually I would leave that on, honestly, but I would just have it take the extra time.
Probably a good idea to do that when you have time for the scan, and if you're in a situation where you need to cut it short, maybe turn it off.
Yeah.
On the tech bench, I normally just let scans run and come back later.
Yep. Wait for the email alert from DSW.
Right.
Or the sound audio visual alert. All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thanks everyone for joining us and talking with us. Eric, Cherie, RTM Tech, Ryan, Chuk. Looks like Zombie Worm came in at some point too.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate the following, and we hope we shared some useful information.
Yep. And we will see y'all tomorrow, and have a good second day of your week.
Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. Take care.
Bye, Internet.